Hello guys, this is RCSchim from my Hangar, and today I have the blade Chroma on the review bench, so let's have a closer look at it. You will see later in a flight test how well it performed. It's a competitor of the Phantom drones from DJI. It has a lot of similarities, but it also has some unique features, like they have their GPS tower up there, which is a good idea. It's foldable. The gimbal I got with this model here is the CGO2, which is the entry level gimbal, I'd say. Nice thing about this, it comes off really easy. You just press this button here and slide it off and have one cable attached to it. So it's a nice and fast way to dismount the gimbal. And also the landing gear is to be unmounted really easy. So if you unmount all, you have a really flat copter to pack in your trolley. Also the propellers are easy to attach and disassemble, like you saw it on the Phantom. So these are also clockwise, counterclockwise prop mounts, like you know it. They have different versions of their blade Chroma. The smallest one with the fixed mount, which is cheap, where you can attach, let's say, your GoPro on a fixed mount. They have this 1080p model of the CGO2. The image quality, you can't compare it to GoPro, but you'll see later if it produces footage that you like or not. Then there is the 4K capable CGO3 camera from Blade. Or if you have a GoPro and wanna keep using it for aerial photography, you can also get a GoPro gimbal for the Blade Chroma. So that's a nice idea, and they implemented this nice. On the radio side, you also have the choice if you want their SD10 radio, which has built-in Wi-Fi for video downlink. If you want the simplest possible way to get video downlink, you should take this one. Or if you want a Spectrum, if you already have a Spectrum radio, you can get a bind and fly version. So a lot of different versions to get there. Let's have a quick look on the SD10 radio and on the Chroma. Of course I wanted to unmount the props, so nothing bad will happen in the hangar. The radio itself, it has an Android PC built in for video transmission and for control of everything on the touch screen, so that's a nice feature. So that's maybe one additional consideration for you. If you already have an iPhone, iPad or something like that, and you want to use it for FPV, then you would rather go the Phantom route. If you don't have a good smartphone and want something integrated where you get all in one package, that's the better option for you. So after about a minute it booted up. If you double click, you get a full screen view, and for flying in the sunlight you can attach this suction cup mounted sunshade, which I found to be flimsy. If I would use this more often, then I would choose some Velcro straps here to secure this thing, because you see how it falls off. Maybe I should clean it so it holds better, but it's not the best solution. However, you would need this on a sunny day, of course, to see something. It's nice how it folds to a flat thing, however. As for the radio, You see the volts, altitude, the ground speed, distance. Can make different selections here. The smart mode, which is called intelligent orientation control in the DJI world. Smart mode, I don't like it so much. Maybe it's cool for beginners, I don't know. The angle mode is the normal flying mode I am always in, and the home is the return to home mode. You have a button to record video or photo up there. You have a speed slider, which bunny is about 25 kilometers per hour and the turtle is 10 kilometers. The radio itself, it feels well built. It's a good fit. One thing though, I'm not sure if everyone will like the display being on the bottom of the radio. It's ergonomically, it would be better to have the display on the top. Yeah, so you have to look down. But yeah, that's just a minor issue. So yeah, I really liked how the radio works. This is the battery. It says it's a 5400 milliamp 3-cell, but it's rather a 6300. I'm not sure what's with the labeling. The flight time is fairly impressive. It's my first flight was, and this is a used battery. I got this test model. I had 24 minutes in 500 meters above sea level. When I was doing mainly hovering and flying smoothly around. On later flights where I flew faster and further away, I got around 20 minutes, but it was also colder and I was higher up at about 700 meters. So flight times are better than on the Phantom, I'd say. I don't really like about the with the standard packet you get this charger to this balance charger adapter thingy here, and it works and it charges for around 2 hours or so. And you charge it by attaching it here and attaching it to the power, of course. But there are also adapters like this that go into your normal charger, which I would really recommend for charging the batteries, because you can charge them faster and you see how many milliamps you charged in, and I always want to know how good my batteries are, how much power I used for a flight and so forth. So it's good for a beginner. You can get away with this, but if you maybe have more batteries and want to charge them on maybe even parallel, then you should get 1 or 2 of these adapters. I will link you how they are named. It flies great. The autolanding function works really nice. The descent speed is fast and it lands smooth. The radio itself has also built-in GPS. So if you want to initiate the return home landing option, it will land 5 meters near your radio position. So if you moved from the original start point to your current location, then it will know where to go, which is cool if you are driving on a road chasing the car with the copter, and then you ran into a failsafe. It would fly failsafe to your current position and not to the position a few kilometers back where you started, which is a good idea. And you also need the GPS in this radio here if you want to use the tracking mode. So tracking mode gets the GPS coordinates from the radio and tells the copter to look down to the radio and to follow down to follow the radio. GPS acquisition is fast and you get a high number of satellites. If you want to use the follow me or the tracking mode, you have to set it in this mode while it's on the ground. You cannot change the flying modes in the air, the tracking or the normal mode. You can change between smart and angle and return home mode, of course, with the switch, but you can't go from the normal mode to the tracking mode while it's airborne. So keep that in mind, set it on the ground, start up, and the tracking mode will work as long as you're in the smart mode. If you change to angle mode, then it will leave the tracking mode. The low battery behavior, I showed this also in my test flight video, is that around 10.6 volt it will issue a warning, and for me it took 1.5 minutes until it really automatically landed after this warning. So yeah, if you see this warning about battery getting low, you really should land. And if the battery is low and he chooses to land, he doesn't return to home, but he lands where he is. So if you're over water and your battery dies, then the copter will drown in the sea. So keep in mind, if you did a few flights, you normally get a good idea of how long you can fly. Just make sure that you have a good 5 minutes spare to return home, and you shouldn't run into any problems. As I said, the flight times for me were between 25 and 20 minutes with the used battery. Maybe with a good charger and with fresh batteries and with all the care, you can have more flying times. Also, you have to consider the sea level you're at. I'm at 500 meters above sea level. If you're at 0 sea level, you get better flight times because the props are more efficient there. To the radio and to the Wi-Fi connection, this is not light bridge. So clearly for me, the DJI light bridge on Phantom 3 on the higher priced models have less latency and they have more range. I didn't do a full range test on this. On my first flights I ran into the 200 meter geofence limit that's activated per default. I saw some guys flying around 500 to 600 meters with this, but for me on 200 meters distance, in some turns the video connection already dropped or got sluggish, so I'm not sure if you get a lot of range from this standard Wi-Fi video connection, to be honest. The latency is around 400 milliseconds, which is okay for such kind of a flying craft, which is stable, which can return to home on its own. So the latency wouldn't bother you really. I mean, it's not a racer. The props are 10-inch props, so they have 1 inch more than the Phantoms. So these are the props in comparison, Phantom and Blade Chroma props. So you see the Chroma prop is a bit taller, but it's also thinner. Yeah, but same principle. The brushless motors used here are 3508 by 780 kV. So they are larger than the Phantom ones, and they must be quite efficient on 3 cells. Phantom 3 uses 4 cells. And packing a size and the weight, it's 33 centimeters in square and about 9 centimeters in height if you unmount everything. So it's fairly small for such a big copter. The gimbal is 12 by 12 by 8 centimeters and the radio is 25 by 19 by 11 centimeters. Yeah, I will link you all the tech informations in the description, of course, below. And I prepared an extensive flight testing video where you see the follow me mode, the tracking mode, where you see return home, and where you also can see how well the copter will work, how the gimbal looks. I mean, to the gimbal quality, or to the CGO2 cam quality, it did remind me a bit on the Bebop drone. It has probably quite a fisheye lens, but unlike on the Phantoms, they have, I suppose, better optics where you get less distortion. Here on the CGO2, they have a distorted lens, but they do some software magic to compute this away. So, and you see it looks a bit pixelated for me, so that's something you should consider. I mean, from the technical point of view, it's nice what they did. They have the Wi-Fi transmitter in the cam itself, so the connection to the copter is really simple. It's just the steering commands and all the wireless transmission happens directly in the cam. So I hope you got some information on the blade Chroma, whether or not this is a good candidate for you against the competition of mainly the DJI Phantom. If you want to use GoPro for flying, you can either use the old DJI Phantom 2 with the Zenmuse gimbal, or you get blade Chroma with the GoPro gimbal. With a blade from Horizon Hobby, you get a very well supported device. That's something many of the guys on RC groups consider to be a huge advantage. It packs down small and nice. That's some advantage for me versus the Phantom. You cannot dismount the Phantom so easy like you can dismount this thing here. So it could be a good travel drone for you. If you need a lot of range, you may be limited with this one here. So that's one range limitation. But even with the 200 meters of standard range I had for the first flights, I was okay with it. You can really get stunning shots. In most countries you have a limit of 500 or 600 meters of maximum flying range to stay legal. So yeah, it should reach the 500 meters, I'd say. But hope I didn't forget anything here on this thing. We can discuss it in the comments. If you have some more questions that I didn't cover here, just ask them and I'd be happy to answer them. Of course, I want to thank Horizon Hobby for sending me this drone for review. They gave me this test model for a few weeks. I appreciate this. Hope I can review more stuff from Horizon, because I really like all their blade models. I have a lot of the smaller blade copters and I think they are good quality build. I will show you some more pics of the copter now, and I will upload the flight test videos soon, so you see the thing in action. Okay, so thanks for watching this episode. Bye.